For sure. That's my favorite sport.
Grew up in the OUA.
So
that's just
that with you
has been our place. We don't have a little brother. We're just an afterthought.
It's my favorite sport.
Swinging
Grew
a
up
bat.
with, I have an older brother, played every sport with them, but swinging a bat. Grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. It's my favorite sport. Played every sport. Grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. In the OUA. It's my favorite sport. Swinging a bat. Grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. In the OUA. It's my favorite sport. Played every sport with them, but grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. In the OUA. Played every sport with them, but grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. In the OUA. Grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. In the OUA. Grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. Grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. Grew up with, I have an older. Grew up with, I have an older brother, Chris. We definitely knew we had talent. There was points that we just were unsharp together, you know what I mean? So kind of catching our stride, playing disciplined baseball and going, like, I think we thought that we were mid-pack, but we had upside. It's my favorite sport, for sure. I started playing growing up, just playing catch, like in the backyard, kind of catching our stride. I have an older brother, Chris. He's 2 years older than me. He played like golf and hockey growing up. He's big into weightlifting as well. We also grew up with 2 brothers down the street, Brendan and Adrian. Played every sport with them, but they always focused on baseball. And I grew up playing hockey and soccer, actually. But it wasn't until grade 6 that they kind of influenced, Brendan and Adrian kind of influenced me, like, hey, like maybe try it out.
So our families originally met through hockey. Growing up, we were always very close. We don't live far from each other. So, you know, we had many nights where we'd play actually baseball in someone's yard in a park nearby one of our houses with our dads. So I think that's where, you know, I think both of us had our interest in baseball kind of enhanced from those nights playing in the park. We always enjoyed playing against our dads, pick up games of baseball. You know, we called them the dinosaurs because to us they were, you know, very old. So yeah, we called them Team Dinosaurs, and you know, it was always great when, you know, we got to pick up a win over them, especially at a young age.
It's kind of my mom's thing, and just said, screw it, why not try it? I went to a tryout in grade 6, played for Forest Glen, made the team, like it was a AA team, made it, had a couple buddies from school on it with me, and kind of took off from there. I started training at the baseball zone, pretty close to home, taking lessons, just kind of took off from there.
What's your inspiration to play baseball?
There's a lot of things. My mom, definitely first and foremost. So as I mentioned, like she grew up playing it a ton. She called herself a tomboy. She grew up with like 2 brothers and just always played sports nonstop. And baseball was her thing. She had a crazy good arm, and she like played in softball. She would play infield, even though like no other girl would play infield. It's just kind of her thing. And yeah, like just throughout high school and like late elementary, she came to all my games and was kind of always supportive of me and with that. And when she got sick and passed when I was like 19, and I ended up like leaving my old school and transferring to Ryerson, it kind of became a way of like honoring her in a sense, because it was our thing. And even when I'm pitching, like to this day, I'll like write her name behind the mound like before I pitch. I remember like my first game back after she passed, I like after my first at bat, I remember like going behind the dugout and like crying a little bit and being just super emotional. It's something that like I feel like I'm honoring her legacy by playing.
When you're playing for something like that, you know, you're playing for more than, you know, just the game, like, you know, playing, you know, in her memory and stuff. So I think, you know, when you carry that with you, that's going to give you, you know, the extra boost to, you know, if you're in practice, push for 1 rep harder, or take those extra couple of swings in the cage. That'll make you better, and then that'll translate into better performance in the game.
After she passed again, I started working out and taking it a lot more serious, and I went from playing AA and kind of just select around Mississauga to playing Coba senior in the summertime, and I put on, I think, like 20 pounds of muscle just in the gym, and really took it seriously. And once I made Ryerson, met my friends there. They all know my story. They all know how important it is to me, and it was amazing. And to end my career the way it did, it almost felt like mission complete in a way. And yeah.
Okay, we're all set for baseball at Dan Lang Field. Rams, Warriors for the 2nd game in a row, but this time in the playoffs.
I think the thought process is we were looking beyond the game. Like, we already thought it as a win in our brains, and the way we played the game, even the first couple innings, you could just tell we were already thinking we had the game won, and that's not the mentality you should have. You should have the mentality of, hey, like, we need to win this game to win the next game, and that was not our thought process at all.
We knew that we needed to win the game at the end of the day. And the fact that it was 0-0, I think it was the top half of that inning or one of the last innings. Like, I was, I think, on second. I think Sammy was on first. Like, we just kind of stranded our base runners. So we were knocking on the door, and we knew that they were like a punch away from winning.
Swinging a ground ball through the legs of Tyler Hopper, and the Waterloo Warriors win 1-0.
For us to lose the way we did in like the bottom half, it was definitely a letdown for us. Like, we felt like we had kind of some wind blown out of our sails. A couple of us guys, we went to like a restaurant after the game and just kind of chatted and kind of licked our wounds a bit and geared up for, okay, like tomorrow we know we have to win.
Ryerson Rams, Brock Badgers, an elimination time for both of these teams.
The mentality that I thought that Brock had coming in against us was the same that we had against Waterloo. I think they were already looking past us.
Nothing. They didn't think of us at all. Nobody did, right? Like, Brock especially, like I mentioned, they played against teams in the States, and the vibe you get from other teams in the OUA, Ryerson's not really a thought. You know what I mean? So, yeah, like, they didn't really give us the light of day, and we showed them.
Dolan hits a ground ball through the right side, and the Ryerson Rams are knocking on the door early. Johanna with a liner. Sanford can't make the catch. Farah scores, and the Rams are up 2-0 in the first inning. Swinging a hard ground ball. Diving stop by Tyler Hopper onto first base. What a play by Tyler Hopper. Swinging a fly ball to center field. Chufreda is under it. Makes the catch. And the Ryerson Rams hold on to beat the Brock Badgers 2-1 and eliminate one of the best teams in the OUA.
We were coming off the Brock game where we won, and we were all just feeling amazing, right? Like, it was probably our biggest win. It was our first playoff win in program history. So we're feeling amazing. We're knocking on the doorstep, right? Like, Guelph is, they're a very confident team. You know what I mean? Everybody knows what they're about. So going into it, I think, like, I know I felt this. I feel like a lot of the guys did. Like, what do we have to lose, right? We just won. We just beat Brock. You know what I mean?
We just came off beating Brock. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, nothing's out of reach. And, anybody can get beaten on any given day. So, I mean, why can't we do it?
Despite what people may have thought about us, again, like, I think we knew what we had. And we knew that the season we did have, at points, we showed signs of greatness, and we showed that we are capable. And then once our play kind of lined up with what we were capable of and everything gelled together, I think it was like a holy crap moment. Well, they probably thought they had it in the bag, right? You know what I mean? Get Ryerson kind of out of the way and then save their ace for Championship Sunday. I think if they could have ran it back, they probably would have started him again.
Well, it's part 2 and another difficult challenge for the Ryerson Rams as they take on the Guelph Griffins. Aiden Dolan drives one deep to left. Off the top of the wall, Dolan just missed a home run and he'll cruise into second now with a stand-up double.
Scrap the whole idea of like, oh, these teams are powerhouses. On any day, anyone can win. So just go in with the attitude that you can stand up any big team.
It'll be just enough to cash in the first run for the Ryerson Rams and Aiden Dolan. Tyler Hopper squares the bunt and gets a pretty good one down to third base. Throw on to first, and it gets away! Another run is going to come in to score for the Ryerson Rams. Steaming around third base is Tahana. He's going to be held there. A ball bunted up to Hana, coming to the plate, and he's safe! Ryerson Rams lead 3-0.
It makes the game fun for us, I thought, throughout the season when we get out and we're just cheering on our own teammates.
Everybody was pumped. Everybody knew what was on the line. It was quite the day of waiting, so people were pumped to get playing and took that as energy for themselves.
The pitch, and they might have Snow picked off. No, the throw gets away! Spencer Snow is going to score. 5-0 Rams. Swinging a ground ball to second. Tyler Hopper has it, throw to first, and the Ryerson Rams are out of the inning. This one's lined into center by Spencer Snow, and it gets away from the center fielder, and the Ryerson Rams have a runner aboard. Pitch in the dirt to Mankowski, and coming into third base is Spencer Snow. The Rams are threatening to score again. Swinging a ground ball by Fiacco through the right side, and the Ryerson Rams and Mitch Fiacco have another RBI.
The guys believed that they could do anything. They gave us plenty of reason to get fired up. So I think the players did a great job using that and turning that into an outstanding performance.
Swinging a ball drilled to center field by Sam Turcotte. That one's going to get all the way to the wall. The throw to third base. And Turcotte is in there with a triple.
I feel like the momentum was just so much in our favor, and we were so focused and locked in. It didn't matter if he was throwing 105. We could still hit him. We did. It's amazing.
Swinging a fly ball to center field. Chufreda makes the catch. Ground ball to Tyler Hopper. Throw on to first, and the Rams are 1 out away. Swinging a fly ball to right field. Mitch Fiacco has a beat on it, and the Ryerson Rams defeat the Guelph Griffins 8-3. This team is proving that anything is possible, as for the second time in the same night, they defeat an OUA favorite. This time, the Guelph Griffins are eliminated, and the Ryerson Rams continue this incredible run that they've been on in the OUA playoffs and play McMaster tomorrow.
Without being cliche, like Kevin Garnett, anything's possible.
It doesn't matter what kind of players you have. If you guys all work as one team and you practice as a team and you create, the basic plays that you need and everything, you can win.
It's a short season. You have to be focused. You have to have good team chemistry with the guys and establish that early with a good culture. Keep up the work, obviously, in your practice and stuff, but literally just focus and get it done, because it's a pretty level playing field if you consider it.
I think my time with Ryerson baseball is really synonymous with life as a whole, to be honest. Being able to K 3 times in a row and still come back the next day. Everyone has an awful day at work sometimes, but you kind of got to go back the next day. There's no way around it. You're going to have an awful at bat and you still have to go back up the next time. And, if I were to compare our season, we had a lot of energy and we had a lot of young talent, and, the end of the season didn't necessarily go how we were hoping. But I think to compare it to life, like, you always step into the next day ready to give it your all. And in this playoffs, we stepped in and we were ready to go. And I think it's important to realize that no matter what historically has happened, no matter what anyone says about you or your team or your work ethic, like, on any given day, you can come in and you can show people up and you can be unexpected.